Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Pick Ems for the Pokemon World Domination. I'm your host, actually Amungus, and this week I'm doing it a slight different with my recording because I'm a little pressed for time, but I decided this week I would just do my Pick Ems. I usually have them prepared for this video with my picks, but I'm going to analyze these matchups. I don't have a guest plan because I was a little pressed for time, so I'm just going to analyze these matchups by myself. I think this week's Pick'em is going to be the biggest challenge to date, but we'll get to that in just a second. First, we have the results from week 3. So just to go over it real quick so I can get to week 4, we had the New York Noctiles over the Tokyo Toxapex, the Atlanta Sobble over the Immortal Drampa, the Lisbon Arcanine over the Cianwood City Quagsire, the Los Angeles Infernape over the New York Nickit, the Lake of Rage Gyarados over the Manchester Mimikyu, the Straw Hat Crocodile over the Fargo Phalanx, and the Nashville Nidoking over the Stark Mountain Giratina. So, with that said, I'm going to move the card over to week 4 because my point I wanted to make with the results of week 3 is that it puts our league in a very, what I call, symmetrical position. We have one undefeated team, the Lake of Rage Gyarados, with their Dynamax and also their team, their completeness as a team. They haven't made any extremely bad plays that have taken them out of games or lost them a lot of advantage. So, they have a clear place of dominance in the league right now. However, when you look at the particular matchups of this week, from top to bottom, because also we have 6 2-1 teams, 6 1-2 teams, and 1 0-3 team, but that person does have a very good team. So, looking at this week's matchups, they're very very difficult to pick on because first of all, we have the Stark Mountain Giratina going against the Tokyo Toxapex. Now, the Tokyo Toxapex have not gotten their first win yet this season, but they have played well for the most part each game. They definitely went down to a barrage of hacks in one of their battles. So, and plus, their preseason power ranking was number 5. Their roster is quite good. Something tells me that it's probably just been a bad shake at things for Coach James and that he could get on the board any week now. But what he's going up against is definitely a threatening and synergized team. It's obviously the Rain team of the Draft League. For those of you who are familiar with everybody's playstyle up until this point, Coach Manny has brought the Rain. But Coach James has brought the Toxapex, and he also has Whimsicott that he's been using really effectively. I believe that I will take the underdog right away. I think I'm going to take my underdog pick right off the rip. Go out on a limb. Take the Tokyo Toxapex on this one. Although that would put Manny in a spot that I don't really foresee him being at 1-3. It's still time to turn it around. So yeah, I can see James getting himself on the board this week. Next we got the Fargo Phalanx and the Immortal Drampa. Now, I'm coming off a win against the Immortal Drampa, Coach Bloud, and they were the number 1 seed in that battle. I think that was just really close because even though I did win, it was kind of a miracle battle. So I'm gonna stick with Coach Bloud on this one. I wouldn't be surprised though because I play a lot with Mac and Coach Shiny Shuriken, So I'm just gonna take the safer, the take the power ranking bet on this one though. I like the roster a lot. For sure, it's probably my favorite, as I've said in the past. But next we got a hot upstart. I don't even know if I would call it that. He's been really less of a hot upstart and more of letting everybody know that he came to be for real in this league. A pretty consistent performer in Coach Sosa, and also a very consistent performer who only lost 1-0 last week in Coach Ryan in the Cianwood City Quagsire. This one's really hard for me too because part of me wants to go Sosa for sure, but I know that Ryan is really consistent in his play and his prep. And I know that the reason why I'm going to take Coach Sosa on this one is because I think his roster ceiling is higher. But this one might be my game of the week right here. I am not gonna lie. So could be wrong on any of these, of course, but I think this one might be the marquee matchup of the week in my personal opinion. Moving on though, like I said, it's just kind of really difficult this week because the Lake of Rage Gyarados may be undefeated, but Coach New and the New York Noctowl have played solid every week. I actually played them week 1 and gave them their only loss of the season thus far, but I definitely left that battle with a good respect for Coach New's playstyle. I had nothing but good things to say about him as a battler after battling him. I think I had a pretty good matchup against his team versus roster to roster comparison, so that worked out. I think that played a big part in our battle, but I will say he held me off really good compared to many of our scrims. He could give Arts major trouble this week, but Arts really is giving me no reason to pick against him so far. I have a feeling that as well as Coach New plays, that in the Pick Ems he's going to be a huge underdog this week because he's definitely facing his biggest test to date. Moving on though, the Nashville Nido-Kings, coached by Southside Braves, and the New York Nicket, coached by Coach Bishme, and from being number 1 in the power rankings, Bishme's kind of tripped up a little bit over 2 weeks, but we're not far enough in the season to really count the New York Nicket out yet. I really like the way that Coach Southside has been playing lately, but I just don't see it Bishme being 1-3 with that roster. So I'm just gonna take the New York Nickets. Hey, everybody, not every game you're gonna be great. Not every matchup you're gonna be great. I'm sure that Bishme will figure this one out somehow, some way. Moving on, we got my matchup: the Manchester Mimikyu versus the Atlanta Sobble. I don't bet against myself. I always pick myself. I don't think I'm gonna go undefeated, but I always pick myself. Okay, you control what you can, and I control the Atlanta Sobble. Shout out to Coach Peekaboo, one of my recent favorite content creators that, I love stopping in his channel, all of those things. We're going to have a great battle. Cannot wait for it. But we're talking about Pick Ems right now, and I don't bet against myself, Atlanta Sabo, all the way. We win in the chip. So going down to the last battle, we got a 1-2 matchup versus the Lisbon Arcanine and the Straw Hat Crocodiles. I think that Coach Squid has played really well lately, and I like the plays that I've seen from him all 3 weeks. I like the play that I've seen from Coach Shade in week 3 to pick up his win, but I cannot say that I'm in love with his play all 3 weeks. So I'm going to take the Lisbon Arcanine on this one, but we'll see how it goes. Do not forget when you're making your pick'ems that Coach Shade has one of the strongest rosters in the PWD, so he can pull an upset on anybody. I think that's fair to say. With that said, as always, DM, comment, post in the Discord. Make sure you get me your picks. We've been really consistent with the people that have been doing picks. And, oh yeah, I almost forgot something. The results for the Pick'ems of last week. Sorry guys, that's not the end of the video. Last week, the leader... Wow, I really wasn't prepared. The leader for last week was a tie between myself with 5 and also the Southside Braves with 5. Right behind us we had a group of people at 4, and in the overall rankings, I think that might give me, well, that doesn't give us a lead change. No, it doesn't. It gives us a new tie. So the current point leaders in the Pick'em overall as of week 3 is a tie between myself and Coach Arts with 14 picks apiece. Coming up right behind us, let me make sure nobody's tied with them. Yes. We have Bishme and Southside Braves. They're at 12, right behind us, and the Pick'ems are still really close, so make sure you get your picks in. And I guess that's going to be all for me. Yeah, we kept the video under 15 minutes, so cheers to that. Can't wait to see how week 4 goes. We definitely have a tough slate for the Pick'em fans this week. So make sure you get your picks to me, leave a comment, or let me know what you want. And I will catch you guys next week. I appreciate you watching. Peace.